All right, welcome to Sega Dudes, episode 2 with the Walterman Master Welch. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. How about you?
Doing well, enjoying the 80-degree temperatures that we're having lately.
What? You're having 80 degrees?
Like 82
Whoa.
today.
What the heck? How, dude? That's crazy.
Dude, I'm in the
I mean, it's
South.
-2. It's -2.
You can have that. I'll take 80 degrees. Thankfully it wasn't humid, but yeah, it's like February, 80 degrees. That's not quite right. But
Jeez.
we've got trees
lucky.
blooming and stuff.
Wow. Awesome. I'm jealous, dude. I'm so ready for spring. I was even talking to my dad on the phone the other day, and he's like, this has been a longer than normal winter. And he feels like this winter has been dragging.
No, we had like a week, maybe two, where it was like, oh man, this is nice. It feels like winter. And then into the 60s, and it was cooling down at night, but then upper 70s yesterday, and then 80s today. I think we're supposed to have chances for the rest of the week to get up there.
Nice.
So.
Yeah. I think we were talking about collections.
Yeah, collecting. I know it feels like, and maybe just because of the space limitation, that like I'm at the point like, all right, I've got too much. I don't need it all. I guess I don't really need any of it, but I just don't want it all. It's getting to be more of a hassle, mainly because I still buy stuff, but I don't have any place to put it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if you don't buy stuff and let stuff go. So I've been wondering about dropping some stuff. I need to go through my list of Genesis games and just get rid of some of the shovelware stuff that I don't really care to play that. I went through my NES stuff. I only have like 50 games. I put like 26 games on my list. I was like, all right, I either need to beat them and or sell them and just get them out of the collection. And I need to go through just all of the various consoles that I've got and do that. But then I don't just collect games and stuff. I collect action figures and a little bit of Pops. Thankfully, the Pops is pretty much just the stuff that's really nostalgic for me. Like I picked up some Jim Henson ones and Voltron, but most of it is Masters of the Universe stuff. But I still pick up Lego stuff, and it's like I've never stopped collecting any of that stuff while I was collecting retros. Just my focus was on retro, and every once in a while something would catch my eye. I was like, oh, that's cool. I want to add that to the general collection. And there's been lots of Sonic stuff that came out the last couple years.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched a video by RGT85 today, I believe is the channel. And he was talking about selling off all his collection and talking about just keeping stuff that might actually be sentimental of a sort. And I don't know, man. I mean, I've accumulated a lot, but I guess like my vision is to be able to have all the games that I do have readily available, just in case, let's say, servers go down and all that ability for digital content disappears, or something like that. And value wise, I mean, that don't really concern me a whole lot. I mean, it's kind of interesting to see how prices have really changed and how I've seen it evolve into a collector's market from it just being like, hey, these are retro games that are laying around, to all of a sudden becoming a high price item that people are wanting, and the specific titles. But I've seen that spill over to just junk titles that you would have found like 5 or 6 of them at a pawn shop, and even those have gone up, as long as it's a CIB, that just automatically seems like it gives it a pass to be expensive. And I don't really agree with that. I mean, what was one I seen the other day? A Missile Command 3D sealed. And I was thinking about it, but I was like, dude, that game is just, I have it there's nothing special about it really, other than its 3D capabilities. It's not like it was like a standout, well playable, a game easily played type
Have you
of
played
title.
it in 3D?
Yeah, you could play it in three. It was a goggle.
No,
It was
but
a
have
glass.
you played it with the 3D?
No, I haven't. I have not
Okay.
played it yet.
It's probably the best 3D title because of the depth it has. It really shows off the capabilities of the 3D glasses of the Master System. Because there's like, I think generally on all the levels, there's 3 different levels, and then like you'll move between them, but then you can also jump. And when you jump, like, dude, it like looks like he's popping out of the screen. It's the best example of 3D on the Master System. And no, it's not a huge title. I mean, you're gonna have to have a CRT, you have to have the glasses, you have to have an adapter, and to even get it to work, so you actually see the 3D and see it popping out and stuff. Yeah. So but the thing is, sealed games, because of all of that grading and stuff, unfortunately have just gone kind of crazy with prices. And the rising tide raises all boats. Well, the sealed stuff, unfortunately, I think had a rollover effect into, oh, hey, if this one's sealed and graded and is worth this much, then a loose copy might become, or loose or a completed box copy might start worth something. Yeah. And well, I think the big thing is investors, people investing in games. It's like, I mean, yeah, if you held on to it for 20 or 30 years, you could make out like a bandit for some of the titles. Mm-hmm. But people also forget that means you had to carry that title around with you for 30 plus years or whatever, 30 years, and keep it in the box, not do anything with it for the most part. If it was sealed, you had to keep it sealed. So there was a basically, if you were to charge yourself a storage fee over time, it's like, okay, how much I actually pay to keep that game with me and not do anything with it. But the speculation, I guess is what I should say, the speculation that's creeped in the last few years when it took off has, I think, really hammered some of those lower price games. I mean, even on the Master System, which isn't super popular, I did a list of a $100 challenge, and it was tough to keep it underneath that $100 because so many of the games that should have been $5 or $10 were 20 plus bucks. And it was like, there's no reason why this game should be that expensive, because I think there was something like Action Fighter, super common game, Choplifter, super common game, and I was like, those are going for more than I would have expected. But I think also part of it is people are catching on, okay, Master System, generally cheap to collect for. Most of the games are under $60 to get them complete in the box. There's a handful that are above that, but most of them, out of the 113 that were released in the US, you can get 90% of it for less than $100 a pop, and then you've only got Golden Axe Warrior, Outrun 3D. Wait, Outrun 3D wasn't released in the US.
That's so expensive. Last time I was bidding on it, it went up to like $400 or something like that. So
yeah. But James Buster Douglas, Alf, Aerial Assault, Golden Axe Warrior, I think those are the Asuka to Shinobi World might be over $100 now, but that may just be the blue variant label. But yeah, there's only a handful of games that are over $100, and then only a few of them that are going to be over $200 or $300. So I mean, you could get the whole collection of 113 and not have to break the bank too much compared to NES and all of the other ones that have huge libraries. And if you're going for a complete US and PAL set, it's 364 games, I think, somewhere around there. mean, it's a lot more manageable than some of the other systems, but there's a few high priced ones, but people are catching on. It's cheap, so you can get a bunch of games for a system. And I don't know. I think a lot of collectors are just that they're collectors. They're not gamers, and so they're not so much worried about playing the games. And I think that's where I am kind of going back to where we started with. I want to hold on to the games that I will play.
Yeah.
I don't want what I would consider, not necessarily shovelware, but shovelware to me. It's like, okay, yeah, I could play that game, but I've got, like for the GameCube, I'd rather go and play Luigi's Mansion again than play some of the stuff that I've got. Because I know I like Luigi's Mansion. I can play through it back to back to back and still have a great time with it.
Yeah.
So I just want to refine my collection. But like, I don't think Master System, Mark III, SG-1000, I don't think I'm going to get rid of any of that stuff. But, pare down the Genesis stuff, probably some of the Dreamcast stuff. Don't really have much Saturn stuff, so I don't have to, I could sell that stuff. But even possibly sell all my TurboGrafx 16 stuff and just get an EverDrive.
Yeah. Yeah. Or, one of those, like I have two of those systems. The Retro Freak console, which has been around for 10 years probably now almost. And then the Polymega, and like the Retro Freak has its limitations, and so does the Polymega still, because they just have not unlocked the ability to rip everything to them,
Yeah.
The Retro Freak's done. I mean, that's getting no more updates, It's good for your cartridge-based media, TurboGrafx, Game Boy Color, all that fun stuff, but it's just the system is not as does not have a good presentation compared to the Polymega. Now the Polymega, if they up the ante on the system and make it so you can start doing Game Gear and Sega Master System, I might look at doing a collection dump if I can get one system that I can put everything I've ever purchased on and just be one day I'm done. I have everything already. And I would feel like it went full circle, as opposed to I'll just go get a bunch of ROMs, dump everything on it, be happy, and then I will have never experienced that, firsthand in your hands, type thing.
Well, have you tried the power base converter?
It doesn't. They don't have the codec in it, or they don't have the emulation of the Master System built into it. Just the Genesis.
Strange, because you think that would have been something out of the box, because the power base adapter is basically a pass through, and it just switches it to that mode, so it uses Master System.
I think it has something to do with the board though, because didn't the power base converter? I've opened them up before to clean them out and things like that, and they have their own chipset board in it, so maybe it does something in the converter itself.
Well, I think it tells the Genesis to convert or to switch over to that Master System mode, because it uses the audio processor, the Zilog 80 processor, which the Genesis uses as audio, is what it uses to run the Master System stuff on, because the Zilog 80 is what the Master System had for its CPU.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've tried it in a was it a Hyperkin? There was a Hyperkin Genesis, Mega something or other, Mega SD, Mega SG or something. And I took it out of the shell because it wouldn't fit with it on, but took it out of the shell, put it in there, and it would play Master System games.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried it, though. I mean, I have one of those Stone Age Gamer FM Mini cartridges, and it has a Genesis pin on it. It looks like a Genesis cart, and then you just drop the Master System cartridge on it, and it doesn't work. So I mean, it just gives you a black screen. So there's probably something that they have to add, because it is all emulation.
Yeah.
But I mean, to go to just to finish up what I was saying though on the collecting thing is I think at this point I'm not gonna sell yet. But kind of going off a little bit, like you were talking about the sealed stuff. I do have some sealeds, and I'm kind of thinking about just dumping that and not even worrying about it. Because as of right now, I have the highest graded Dick Tracy sealed for the Master System, and the highest graded Golden Axe for the Master System. And I will say, like, the highest graded Golden Axe prior to mine was a European copy, and it sold for, I don't know, I think it was like $3,000 or something. So my
How long
grade
ago
is
was that?
higher than that, and it's a US copy. So
But how
I
long?
may
So
end up just dumping that stuff and not even thinking twice, you know.
yeah, but the graded stuff has taken a big hit. Also,
It
it's
is. I
it's
mean,
lost
I'm
a lot of
following the
value.
trends. It is, but I mean, I'm in some of the private Facebook circle groups and stuff, and I don't see any fluctuation a whole lot other than the cheap titles that have been graded. The prices of those have dumped a lot, but like exclusive, like you don't see many Master System graded. There's one guy on there, he's got a lot of stuff he's shown off, and you know, thousands of dollars is asking, and I don't feel like with those I should dump them because it's not like your average copy of let's say, I don't even know any NES stuff, but I've seen them on there. I know they were pretty common titles, you know.
Mm.
And let's face it, Dick Tracy on the Master System, the US release, that's rare. I've been even looking at open auctions of that game, you know, open copies of
Oh
it,
yeah, that
just
one's gone up in price.
$500 for an open one. Yeah, there's only one on there, US, $500 for a CIB US copy. And then Golden Axe, I mean, that's kind of a cheap game all around. But, you know, when you get a super clean copy of it, like mine, you know, it's beautiful. It looks brand new. You know, obviously it is, but it's just it's just one of those things where I like those two pieces, but I mean, I have like probably like a dozen sealed games that I thought about getting graded that are possibly worth something, but I just don't think I want to go down that route because of the time you have to invest into it, and then to, you know, to get to that point where you get that graded capsule back, and the fact that there is a lot of flack about the graded stuff, in which I don't think it's that big a deal personally. I feel like it is preservation. But the thing is, like, those sealed copies, I usually have a duplicate. Every one of the sealeds I have a duplicate of to play. So it's just more about preservation, you know, and that's just where I'm at on that. But
Yeah.
when it comes to my collection, as of right now, I'm still expanding. You know, I'm really big into the 32-bit era lately. You know, I got into uh, uh, the CDI, in which the CDI actually runs PS1 resolution, which is amazing. And then 3DO, 3DO is happening pretty soon. And then, you know, I got the Saturn. I just like that era of time, you know, when they're
Mhm.
messing around with CG, video, FMV, just the nice enhanced sound that they could put into them, and the options for, which is such a quirky thing to even think about, but the VCD options. I mean, who cares about MPEG Video 1 these days? I mean, it's garbage. But it's just cool to think that, hey, you know, if I would have had one of those back in the day, I'd have been like, oh, cool, I could buy that movie. And it, you know,
Yeah.
you might see like some kind of action movie that was big at the time and bought it and been like, I can play this in my room nonstop and no one can control me, you know? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, and I think it's a good time to say that you're doing a FMV Fridays on your Twitch channel.
Yep.
So look for
Yep.
Master Welch on Twitch, and because you played with, what was it, Road Avenger last Friday and beat it.
Yep. Yep. And you know, the nice thing about current hardware emulation systems, or even emulation alone, is the save state features.
Yep.
I mean, I'm using save states when I get stuck. I used to feel like that was a wrong thing to do, but you know what? It isn't. I mean, you want to get through the game. You want to experience everything that's on that disc. I mean, if you got to use a save state to do it, you might as well. I mean, think about today's current games. You can just about save anywhere at any time.
Yep.
So I feel like that's not a bad way to go about it. It's a good way to get through your collection and see it all. And you know, that's just part of the show, and like it's it's fun, you know.
It's fun, and sometimes you don't have the hours and hours and hours and hours to put into it like you did when you were a kid, and so the
Mhm.
save states can save you that time, because otherwise you might never actually get to experience the game because you don't have the time to learn every level and play it through every time when you start. And it's that's the thing, is like, play how you want to play. You're not hurting anybody by using save states.
Yep.
I don't think you're depriving yourself of any part of the experience. The only thing that I think could be argued is that you're not going to learn the levels like you would if you had to play it front to back in one playthrough. But so what?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to be a pro gamer or
Yeah.
anything like that. And like who is really
And you're
pro
not
at retro? And a
speedrunning.
game like that is not a pro game. You know, it's just not. I mean, it's only going to sequence as fast as it's going to sequence. You're either going
Yeah.
to get through it or you're not.
Yep. But I mean, you don't know. I mean, someone could find some sort of weird bug. Oh yeah, when it tells you to go right, if you hit left, up, down, B A start, oh look.
Yeah.
Welcome to Violin City. Awesome. Shot. Level up. Awesome. Level up. Awesome. Level up. Let's go. Good. Shot. Level up.
I guess like maybe the Metroid thing,
Which Metroid thing?
just being a limited day
The
one.
Metroid Prime remake
Yeah.
or remastered? I don't think it's limited. I just think there's not enough of them out there, or um,
I think it was a production issue myself.
scalpers. And its location. I saw a guy follow on Twitch. He walked to a store and pulled out two of them. He got two copies, and so I think a lot of it depends on your location.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, because I got mine. I got mine today. So, and I'm not big on Nintendo, and that's one that I definitely wanted. I loved Metroid Prime. I was easily one of my favorites. Still, I would say even still, I'm really excited to play it. I got the old Switch charging, the controller. I'm probably going to be. I'm thinking about streaming it. So,
great game, and I mean, Metroid Remaster looks great, but I was definitely not in at the $40 price point for just one game. I was like, it's too much. It's way too much for what they're asking for, and part of it is I've played it multiple times on the GameCube. I have the trilogy on the Wii digitally.
Mhm.
I don't have a physical copy of it, but
have you looked at Did you see my post about the 3DO stuff I seen?
Yeah, just the
The
condition of
selling
it
of
and whatnot.
the
Yeah, I wish
selling
I.
of junk.
Yeah, I wish you had told me. I know a guy who was selling a 3DO with Alien, the Alien game for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Darn it. It was kind of just something that boiled in the back of my mind, and I was like, I'm doing it, but it's so hard to get one for a good price now, even with a controller or a RCA. Not that the
yeah.
RCA is a big deal, but
No,
the
the RCA is
controller
just it's a
is.
plug that you put on the back.
Yeah. The
It's not
controller's a big deal though. Yeah, though I mean
honking
they're
thing.
going for $50.
Yes. So, but so I did a quick look for Metroid Prime Remastered, and the latest ones are all selling for $60 plus shipping, $70 without shipping. I mean, to me, it's ridiculous. People are whining, complaining about the new Zelda title coming out at $70, but they're paying $70 for a $40 game, which is overpriced at $40 in my mind. And I just think I know we're talking about, there might be a low supply in certain areas, and so it's making some people just think that they have to go ahead and pay the higher prices to get it now.
That's what I don't like about the Nintendo right now. The Switch, I never got into it, is the whole entire FOMO culture around it, the limited copies, the no breaks on pricing. That's why I was like, when I started to see this stuff go on with the Switch, I was like, no, I'm not even going to get invested into it. It's not worth it to me. They released some cool compilations on there for the Sega stuff. Those Sega Ages releases that were
Yeah.
bundles, and like those are cool. And I felt burned that we didn't get them. I felt burned we didn't get the renovation titles, the Valis collection on any
Yeah.
other system but the Switch. And those games are going to be through the roof because they were limited run stuff from not just limited run, but somebody else was doing them. And it's
There's
just
several
like, man,
companies that do limited edition prints and stuff, and it's that yeah, I don't like that practice at all. But I mean, there's plenty of stuff on there that isn't. But the thing is, it's a popular system. It's selling great still. What, 6 years on, and it was an underpowered system on day one. But I think that proves a point that you don't have to have this honking machine, because the graphics look great as they are. Okay, yeah, there's less shiny than you get from the Xbox One and the PS5, or the Xbox Series S and X, or the PS5, and it's. I think a lot of the stuff isn't needed. You can do really good graphics on lower end system, and obviously make good games for it that look good and play good. Although the Joy-Cons, in my opinion, are garbage. But I don't know. People are, I think, like you said, at FOMO, people are so scared of missing out on whatever it is that they're willing to pay these higher prices. But then they complain about prices being higher, and it's like, well, you're paying it, and you're actually the majority of the problem. Because if you're willing to pay the higher price, then they're going to charge it. And I
yeah.
don't mean just the scalpers, but I think the price of games is, for AAA titles, they've been going for cheap for some time, because the development team has gotten so big, and you got everything else.
Well,
Into
what's funny about that is like some of these Nintendo ones that people are going crazy about is stuff that's already out there. It's
Yeah.
just been cleaned up, HD, all that, and it's like, man, Metroid remastered, it's like we played it, or Metroid Prime remastered, we played it, we know what's going to happen. I my mind isn't going to be totally clear on that because it's been so long. But when it was popular on the GameCube, I played through it a few times and enjoyed it. Played the sequel. Corruption ruined it for me because of the control scheme on the Wii. I just did not like it, so I didn't play it. Metroid Other M, I thought it was unique, but that had control issues as well, so I never finished it. So I feel like if Nintendo's going to go down this route and remaster those, that's great. Remaster them, I'll buy them. as long as you guys get rid of that janky Wii control stuff that I was not a fan of, and it's just how I feel about it. But I mean, for the pricing at $40, that's a deal. That's a fair deal for them to go through, clean it all up, do all the work. That must have been what Retro Studios was. I remember they had there was people posting about the job listings at Retro Studios. They must have been doing it for that, and obviously, you know, the new Metroid that is being made. But
Yeah.
what it just boils down to is like an entire built from the ground up Zelda game, in which I don't even have Breath of the Wild. But if Breath of the Wild 2 is being built from the ground up and they're charging $70, well, guess what? Everything's gone up. I feel like those guys deserve to make more. So that's how it is. But you guys need to pick your pill of what you're going to complain about next time you look at games, you know, either a remaster that you're going to raise to that level, or you look at a new production that's at that level.
Yeah.
You know, you can't complain about it.
I mean, you can complain about whatever you want, but whether or not you actually have a leg to stand on or not is something different. Like, I think $40 is too much. I was when they announced Prime Remastered, I was super excited because I thought it was all 3 games and at $40, and I was like, you know what? $10 a game, $10 for tuning it up. But for me, because I played through it last year or the year before. I'm like, I just don't see me getting the $40 value out of it. Like, it looks great, and they've changed it so that it works with the modern controls and stuff. And so I think it'll look and play great, and it'll be much easier for people to go back and play that as opposed to playing stuff on the GameCube because of the C stick and not having an actual second analog stick, which is what we're all used to with modern gaming. But yeah, for me, it's just not worth it. When it hits $20, used or new, I'll probably pick it up for $20 if I can find it. If I can't, I won't really have missed anything because I've already played through the game. And if I want to see the super nice graphics, I can watch it on YouTube. But I don't see myself doing that because, like I said, I can just play through it. But you're talking about corruption. Actually, when they announced the remaster, that night I streamed some Prime, and then I played some of Corruption on the Wii U, because the Wii U has the Wii collection that I downloaded for it. And like some of the motion controls are a little bit janky because I was sitting here trying to pull something. And I was sitting here going, "What's going on? Yeah, it won't turn." And you know, I got it to work eventually, but the aiming on it is great. I was sitting there at the beginning of it. There, you can sit there and shoot like a tin can. Sitting there shooting. I think I got it up to close to 20, and I earned a little medal. I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about those." But some of the motion controls, I mean, sometimes it was just janky. That's unfortunately what it was. I played through Corruption, but I didn't play through Other M for the same reason. But Other M is on my list of games to beat on my 14 console challenge. So hopefully I can stick to it and actually make it through Other M. I'm just gonna try to distance. Okay, it's not like the other Metroid games. You know this. It's gonna control a little differently. And I'll try to have some fun with it, and hopefully enjoy it for what it is and not for what it isn't.
Yeah, I mean, I like Other M, the angles and stuff they used for it, but like I said, it's just the controls were just not tuned enough, and that just ruined the experience, And I had high hope for it being made by Team Ninja, Ninja Gaiden, and it's like if they would have had those controls refined, that would have been an awesome game.
These pirates are more fragile than I just received word that the Federation is allowing all bounty hunters to use. You should now be able to remotely command your ship and land it here. Don't forget to perform suit. Generator A is just through those doors. While you head that way, I'll activate the generator on the way.